Guys, my name is Sam and this is your fifth Java tutorial, and in this Java tutorial I am going to teach you about variables, data types, and how to print variables of different data types on the console. So let's begin. Guys, first of all, before telling you that what are variables and what are data types, you must need that there are different kind of programs. For example, one program we have studied in the previous tutorial that was this just required a string, and we just printed that string. So in that program we just need to write a code. So they're like simple programs in which you just need to code programs in which you just need to write a code or a statement or just the statements, not any kind of data. Then comes those programs in which you also need data. You need data which you manipulate in your program later, and at the end you return some result. So those programs are kind of complex than simple programs, and they need two things. Like, first thing is data, and the second thing is code. So you also write code as well as data. And now there comes a third type of program in Java that is called as object-oriented program. And in that program we actually need attributes and functions. So I'm not going to talk about that kind of program like object-oriented program right now, because it's high-level programming and it's a complex programming which I'm going to teach you in the later tutorials. But now, as we are on the basic levels, so I'm just going to teach you about these two, 1 and 2. So they're simple programs that I have told you. One that we have programmed in the last tutorial, that was like printing a string. So it was just like a piece of code, and we just write system.out.println and then quotes and whatever we want to write here, like hi, how are you. So this is a simple program in which we just need to write code. Okay, but now for example, if you want to write a code of a program in which you need to add two numbers, so you need some data. You need data. So what kind of data? You need data like, first of all, you need first number. Okay, first number, and you need it. You will ask someone to give me that number. Okay, but you need some number. Let's say is equal to 10. Then you need the second number. Second number, let's say 15. Then you also need to give your result as an output. Okay, so third number that you don't know now, but it's going to come in the future. It's after adding these two numbers, 10 and 15, then you will get a result of 25, and at the end you want to result 25. You want to return the result 25 as the third number. So this is let's leave third number for now, but this is data which you require at first. You require a first number which you need to add into the second number, and you also need to code. In code you are going to first number, right now first number, and then you're going to add it in the second number. So this is your code. Let's say this is not a code, this is not actually syntax of addition, but I'm just telling you for now. So hope you got it, that some programs need data as well as code. So in this program you can see you need two numbers, and then you need a code, a syntax to add them. Now for those programs you need variables. Now what does variables do? So let me tell you the basic definition of variables. Variables are some place where you can put your values, put your data, and that holds data for you. So variables are places where you can hold your data. And now what is a data type? Data type means that what kind of data you can store in that variable. For example, let me write this definition first. Data type. Data type specifies that what kind of data you can store in this variable. Now let me relate this with an example. So I am taking an example of frying an egg. Now for frying an egg, you need some things. For example, egg and frying pan and let's say cooking oil. Now let's say you don't have a cooking oil and you go to market to buy cooking oil for frying an egg. Now can you after buying cooking oil, can you hold that oil in a piece of cloth until you walk to your home? No, you cannot hold this in a piece of cloth. So what will you do? You will buy a cooking oil in a plastic bottle. Similarly, you need to place a value that you wanted to hold in by a variable in a variable that can hold that type of value. For example, if you wanted to store an integer, then you also need a variable that has a data type of integer. What that means? That it can store, for example, I'm making a variable. So I'm making a variable of name like number 1. Okay, and now I say that this is its data type is integer. So integer is its data type and its name is number 1. And now what can I store in it? I can just store in it an integer. Now for those who don't know about integer, any number, even it's positive or negative, or even it's a 0. So any number, for example, -1, 5, minus 270, 89, and like 29999, any number, even it is positive or negative, until it's not decimal, it is an integer. But if a number is like this, 1.555, then this number in which there is a point, there is a dot, and after this dot is called as point, and after this point there are some numbers, then this is not an integer, then this is called as a decimal number. Okay, similarly, if it's negative -2.667 or 67, so it is also a decimal number, it's not an integer. Now if you have make a variable of type integer, of data type integer, then it cannot hold a decimal number. If you place a decimal number here, like number 1 is equal to 1.555, then your compiler is going to give you an error, mismatched data type. So what can you do? You can just place in this variable, you can just or this variable can just hold, number 1 can just hold an integer, so you can just place -289 in this, okay, or like 1 in this. Now I hope so that you have got the concept of variable and data type. So I just want to revise it, that what is a variable? Variable is a place where you can store your data, which you are going to use later in your code. And data type is for variables. If you make a variable of data type integer, that it can just hold an integer number. Okay, now the question arises that there are how many types of data types. So I'm not going to tell you about all the types of data types, but I am going to give you 3 basic data types that you need to remember right now for starting with programming. You can say these are like basic data types. So first of all, integer data type. which can store an integer, and second one is float data type, in which you can store a decimal number, and the third one is character data type, in which you can store a character. So character. Now let's move on to the fact that how we can print different variables of different data types in Java. So let's move on to the Eclipse. Now let's create a variable of each data type that I have shown. So in order to create a variable of integer data type, just write int and then the name of your variable that I'm going to give my variable as num. And then for assigning this variable an integer value, you need to put an equal sign in front of it, and then whatever value you want to store in num, just write that. For example, I want to store 10. And for terminating this whole statement in which you're creating a variable, just put a semicolon. Now in the second line, I'm going to create a variable whose data type is character. So for creating a character data type variable, just write char and the name of your variable, that's I'm going to give Sam, and then assigning a value to it. So put an equal sign in front of it, and then whatever value you wanted to assign it to it. For example, I wanted to assign a character S. So you can assign character S to it, but you need to write that S within single quotes. Remember that you must need to write whatever character you are going to store within your character variable in quotes, within single quotes. And now I'm going to create a float variable. So in order to create a float variable, write float and the name of your variable, so dnum, as it's going to store a decimal number. And then in order to assign a value to it, just put an equal sign in front of it. And now just write whatever value you wanted to assign it to or store in the dnum. So I want to store 1.66, and at the end, when you are done, you have to write a small f and then semicolon. So this is how you can create variables of these three data types. Now how you can print the variables, for that like how you can print the variables on the console. So I'm going to write system.out.println and then in brackets. Now remove this arg0 and put here num, and now in the second line just copy this and paste it. Now in the second line, whatever variable you want to print, you just write its name here. So I'm printing Sam, and now I'm going to print in the third line my dnum variable. So I'm going to write dnum. Now it's already printed here, but leave it. And I'm going to run it again, and let's see what is the result. So you can see when this statement runs, then the value of num variable prints. And what's the value of num variable? It's an integer 10. So 10 prints here. Now when this statement runs, then the value of Sam prints, but on the second line due to this ln. So on the second line, the variable Sam, Sam's value is going to print and it's going to show. So here you can see S. Now in the third line, you're going to see the value of dnum, which is 1.66. Now I am going to change these values. I'm going to put this as 555, and I'm going to put this as like f, and I'm going to put this as 2.98. And now let's see what happens. Does it work? Oh yes, you can see that on the first line there's the value of num variable, that is 555, and on the second line there is the value of Sam variable, that is f, and the third line there is a value of dnum, that is 2.98. So that's it. This is how you can create different variables of different data types and how you can print them. So the key take is you can just put the name of your variable, whatever variable you are working with. You just need to put its name in this without within these parentheses, and you just don't need to put any quotes, and its value is going to print here. Okay, now I'm going to give you an assignment, and if you complete this assignment successfully, then I can surely say that you have learned all the concepts that I have covered in this tutorial. So here is your assignment. You need to read this task in which you have to write your name character by character, and also have to assign a number with each character. So you need to complete this task. You can read this statement, and then you're required to bring an output like this. So I show you this output in a close view, so you can see that this is the output. As my name is Sam Piracha, so I just took the first character S and assigned 1 with it, and then A, then 2, and then M, then 3. In this way, at the end, I have last character of my name, that's A, and the number 10 shows that my name has 10 characters. So you just need to make an output like this, and an output like this, and read this task carefully and practice it. So here's the solution to your assignment. You need to create that much number of variables of integer type, and also that much number of variables of character type as much characters are present in your name. For example, my name has 10 characters, so I have to make a character variable for each character, in which I have stored my characters one by one. So in C1 variable I have stored capital S, in C2 character variable I have stored A, and so on. And I have also make 10 integer variables, and I have stored numbering from 1 to 10. Now I just print them sequentially. I have printed C1, then on the next line I have printed num1. So C1 will print the first character of my name. C1 represents first character, and then num1 will print the number 1. Then C2 will print the second character of my name, and num2 will print the number 2, that is 2, and so on. And at the end, C10 will print the last character of my name, as my name has 10 characters, and then num10 will show the number of characters, that is 10, and its output I've already shown, but I am running it in front of you so you can see the output as well. So you can see here, this is the output. So this is the output, and hope you got the concept how to do it. Now, as you have completed your tutorial, so it's time for a nice activity or an entertaining activity that make you relaxed. So for that, I would like to suggest you to watch a good movie or a funny video that can revise your mood and reset your mood and relax you a little bit, because I know that learning a programming can be boring and hectic sometimes. So that's it from my side. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe my channel and share as much as you can, and tell me in the comments that if I have any mistake, any improvement needed in my videos, and please like it. Thank you very much.